Yesterday I made this Spanish rice that ended up getting a little bit burned, but I'm going to use it in tonight's dinner. I'm basically just making this kind of one-pot Tex-Mex style of meal. I've got some pinto beans, and then I've got some chicken broth. I'm also going to be using some frozen tender breast, chicken breast right here. I got to cook the chicken first. I choose to use tender breast because they cook the fastest, and I'm just showing you that the seasonings that I like to use here. My favorite seasoning to use with the chicken is this 21 seasoning salute. It's got some citric acid, it's got onion powder, garlic powder, salt, spices. It's pretty much good in everything. It doesn't take too long for the chicken to be done, probably about 10-12 minutes just because they're small. So I'm going to take these off the burner, put them off the side. I'll chop those up in a minute, but let's start on our rice and bean mixture. Dumped in the rice, dumped in the beans, now I'm going to put in the chicken broth. I like to do this thing where I use the cans or jars from the containers of food that I'm using and just kind of mix it in there. It helps, I don't know, add the best flavor overall, I guess I could say. I'm going to pour it into the jar, close the lid, give it a nice good shake, and add that in there. The moisture content or the liquid content that you add to your meal is really up to you. Honestly, I'm just trying to cook down the beans a little bit and rehydrate the rice. As you can see, I added in a little bit more liquid towards the end. Give everything a nice good stir, and that's going to go for a little while. It really doesn't take too long for everything to get heated up and to get nice and bubbling. As you can see, it really thickened up right here. It is all about preference of what you would like to do. I'm going to fine dice up this chicken and go ahead and add that to our pot. Since the chicken is already cooked, that's why I add it towards the end. And then again, just give everything a nice good stir. At this point, if you wanted to add more liquid, you could, but I chose not to. I thought everything was a pretty good consistency. I've got these random chaotic ingredients, so let's go ahead and make some random salsa. I do not have regular tomatoes, but I have this can of diced tomatoes. I figured I could make like a pureed, restaurant-y style type of salsa. I used about half the can of tomatoes. I'm using some pepper here. I put in some shallots, green onions, some cilantro, a little bit of garlic, just honestly a little bit of everything here. Some salt too. And I think in the end I put in a little bit of cumin. Oh, and some red pepper flakes because I wanted to go for a little bit more of a roasted style type of salsa. I ended up using half of a lime. This lime was pretty hard to squeeze. And just go ahead and mix and puree. Again, the consistency is to your liking of whatever it is that you would like to choose. See, I'm adding in some cumin because I wanted a little bit more of a roasted style salsa. Honestly, it turned out pretty great. I do end up adding a little bit more cilantro, a little bit more green onions, just to make sure that it's got as many aromas in there as possible. And I guess I added in a little bit more cumin too, because, you know, why the heck not? I was kind of afraid adding in like the double herbs and everything like that it was not going to turn out as well as I would have hoped, but it actually turned out pretty great. I'm adding in a little bit more lime here. And I guess a little bit more lime too. And puree. I've never made salsa like this before with canned tomatoes. I never thought that it was really possible, but I don't know. I guess anything's possible when we are doing our chaotic cooking. The consistency of this turned out really well. I end up tasting it right here. It looks like salsa. I mean, honestly, it does. It looks like salsa that you would get at like Walmart or like the grocery store. And it honestly, truly did taste like grocery store salsa. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't the most amazing meal in the world, but it was a really good addition to the meal that I ended up making tonight. And I think I even give it a thumbs up right here, just like an awkward thumbs up to my weird salsa. Conveniently, I have this salsa container that I put it in, and it sure enough looks like the salsa that I would have gotten from Walmart. Ladies and gentlemen, chaotic dinner.